Stay tuned for Retire Your Way with Dale Soutas, a leading financial retirement strategist and the founder of Soutas Financial and Insurance Solutions, right here in Fresno. Every week, Dale discusses pressing financial topics of the week, ranging from reliable income strategies to our financial markets, including Social Security, tax strategies, wealth management, RMDs, legacy planning, long-term care solutions, and most importantly, how to make sure you have enough guaranteed lifetime income to retire your way with choice and dignity. From taxes to trends to total transparency, Dale covers it all. And now, here is Retire Your Way and Dale Soutas.
That's right, friends. This is Retire Your Way with financial advisor Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial right here in California. Every single week coming to you with a full hour of retirement planning strategies, solutions, red flags and green flags, things that you need to be aware of for your retirement. Mr. Dale Soutas, how are you doing this week, my friend?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Having fun. Keeping busy.
Busy. And right away on the onset here, I know that you've been on radio channels, certainly doing commercials for over 20 years, our radio show for several years, and now we're expanding out to a few new stations. So hello, new listeners.
Yes, welcome.
Welcome. We want to let you know, if you're a brand new listener to the program right now, we call it today's modern retiree. Retirement today is a lot harder than it was 30 or 40 years ago, especially since most of us out there won't have pension plans. We're living longer. Inflation is incredibly high. So part of what we do is not only the entertainment and the information of the radio program, but is offering our radio listeners an absolutely free written financial plan done by your financial advisor here in California, Dale Soutas. And all you ever have to do is call the phone number and set up your appointment, and we'll get you started. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382. What about the I-5 corridor? You got people who listen to you all over the place, don't you, Dale?
Right, because some of the stations we use go quite a ways, all throughout Central California. So it's interesting how we've helped people from different parts of the state, from Southern California up to Northern California, because they heard some of our ads over the years, and while they're driving on like I-5, and so there's several people. It's interesting how we've never necessarily met them face to face, but we've walked them through, whether it's for loved ones on the long-term care planning that we help families with, or with their financial planning themselves. And even, over the years, people move away, so we can keep helping them no matter where they are. Because, with the technology today, it's so easy to hook up. If you don't want to drive all the way to Fresno, we can hook up via Zoom. If you want to see my scary face, if you want to see me, or you want to or it could be a telephone conversation. So we can help people no matter where you are up and down the state with all of the things we talk about on our show.
I have found it to be incredibly convenient. It started for me around COVID times, having teledoc meetings, and the response time now, as opposed to just having to wait 5 weeks to go in and see your doctor. I actually have a teledoc one on Friday, and I don't know how they're going to fix my mental health over a Zoom, but we're going to try to do the best we can for Dale on the show. Let's try
for you, I brought my drill.
Yes.
A drill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can help you.
Now you're making me think of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That is not going to help my situation. But to have the opportunity, you can either call in, we can set up a phone call, we could set up a Zoom meeting if you like, or of course you can come into the offices. But we are reaching out further all across the state of California, and we want to let you know that we can get your questions answered anywhere that you are at. So give us a call, folks. 833-856-1382 is the phone number. I'll give you other few free tools as well. You can go to Dale's website if you'd like to learn more about him. That's Soutas.com, Soutas.com. You can write Dale directly, any of your questions that you might have, Dale@Soutas.com. That's Dale and the @ symbol, Soutas.com, or just keep listening to our radio program. Or, you know what, you'll actually have some of your classes as well at Fresno State. Won't you have those coming up soon?
Yes, every other month right now. And next year we plan to have our workshops every single month. They're getting a little more popular, which is great. So that's, a nice time just to kind of meet and greet and get some basic info on the retirement strategies that help people, whether they're a few years from retirement or already retired. It can be very helpful for ones to understand a lot of options. It takes, we usually are there for maybe an hour. We don't want to keep you all night, but Fresno State is a wonderful venue, nice and high tech. And so we can go through a lot of good information in short order.
All righty. So one of the hottest topics right now that's happening here in the middle of the year, unbelievable, is estate planning and the wealth transfer. Again, for some of our newer radio listeners, if you hadn't heard us say these kinds of numbers before, the baby boomers are expected to pass down anywhere from $85 to $90 trillion by 2045. A good 70 trillion of that is expected to go to heirs. Now, before we're thinking about our older adult heirs, our kids, even the grandkids, I think a lot of that is going to pass to our female heirs, meaning our spouses first, as they tend to outlive us. This is somewhat of an exciting time. We're going to see more wealth in women than any other time in U.S. history. Actually expected within the next 2 to 3 years, women will have 50.5% of all of the U.S. wealth here in the country. That's amazing. Maybe a little late in the game, but it's going to be interesting to see how women plan a little bit differently, or invest a little bit differently, or draw down a little bit differently than the men do of their same generation. Where does estate planning fit into your strategy, Dale? Is this an important topic, or is this something that you hand off to an attorney?
First, actually, the attorneys I typically refer to and know, they like to know, well, what is the overall plan? So they like me to not only prep those that are coming to them to know what to expect, but also to guide them on guide the clients on what types of tools they need in their legal package, so to speak. It reminds me, years ago, I had a gentleman come in. Bob, he used to come in all the time. We never did business for a couple years, but he just came in with questions. And I knew that his hobby, what he enjoyed doing was studying the stock market, and he did very, very well. And he kept an eye on it every single day, spending maybe 4 to 6 hours a day. That's what he did. When I finally met his wife, he invited me over and had me meet his wife. And a short time after that, unfortunately, he passed away. But his wife and I realized what he did. He set us up. He set us up to, he was basically interviewing me, kind of like an employee, so to speak.
Sure, of course.
And so then, because he knew his wife's not going to be playing the market. She's not going to want to sit there and look at the stock market. She has more important things to do. So sure enough, afterwards, we just worked together over the years. And she lived all the way into 96. Not 1996, but to 96 or 97 years old. And, her assets, and the assets passed with no problem because we made sure everything was set up to keep going. And she, like many other, I have several little widows who, through the years, I call them mom, they call me their son, and then I have others who, I refer to them as dad, and then others who I have, like there's two that we always tease we're like triplets, we're brothers, because we worked with them many years ago for mom and dad. Now I work with the two sons on their planning too. So it's nice. It's the relationship we develop with the ones we work with. But how do you keep that wealth in the family or wherever you really want it to go? And many people don't even realize if they have real estate, if you don't have a living trust, it's going to get stuck in probate. It's not going to go just because you wrote up a will and say, I want my house to go to my kids or whatever. It's not going to follow that. That's not how property transfers. So there's some things that the attorneys have educated us that we share with our families to make sure things go where you want them to, how they should go. And, it's sad to see sometimes people think, well, I'm just going to add my kids on title with me, and that way if I die, yeah.
No.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Please explain that real quick. Why is that not such a great idea?
Good point. So if one of your children has a financial or legal problem, whose house now is in jeopardy of being lost? That's one thing. The other problem is you bought the house for $50,000 or $100,000 or whatever, and now it's worth $1 million. And they inherit it, but they don't want to live there. They sell it. They have to pay the capital gains tax. So with the trust, it passes to the kids without probate, and they get a stepped-up basis for taxes. They sell it. The proceeds come to them tax-free under current tax laws. So there's a number of reasons why you don't title your property on or with the kids or grandkids on it.
I've got a few more estate planning questions, if you don't mind. We got to take a very short break. You can call the phone number right now as one of our radio listeners and get started on your retirement planning with financial advisor Dale Soutas. No cost to you, no obligation, no credit card. Just call the phone number. Let's set up an appointment so you can sit down with him face-to-face or over the Zoom, over the phone, however you would like to get started. 833-856-1382 is that phone number. More Retire Your Way with Dale Soutas right after this.
In your retirement spending plan, which accounts do you take from first to pay your monthly expenses? Your 401ks, 403bs, or 457s, or your IRAs, or your Roth accounts, investment, or savings accounts? Do you turn on your Social Security right away or delay? Do you use the growth from your mutual funds, ETFs, or bond funds first? Did you sell your business to create income, or do you have life insurance or annuity options? Or what about using HSAs for medical costs? Are you unclear if you have a retirement income strategy at all? You have accumulated assets for retirement for years. Now you need an efficient strategy to make certain these assets work together and last as long as you need them to. Call Dale Soutas of Retire Your Way and Soutas Financial for your own complimentary written income plan right away. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382. Or you can write Dale at dale@soutas.com, SOUTAS.com.
Do you know how much you might be paying in fees within your retirement accounts? Just 1 or 2% in hidden fees can eat into your savings and potentially hinder your ability to achieve your retirement goals. But how do you know if you're currently paying these hidden fees, and how do you find them? Dale Soutas and the team at Soutas Financial can help you find the fees within your investments and explore solutions designed to assist with minimizing them. Take control of your retirement savings so that you can work towards keeping more of your hard-earned money. Let us help work towards finding, exposing, and helping to eliminate those potential hidden fees for you. Call Dale Soutas and Soutas Financial today for your complimentary fee review. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
As a valued radio listener of Retire Your Way, Dale Soutas and the entire team of retirement professionals at Soutas Financial invite you to schedule your very own complimentary retirement planning session. If you don't have a retirement strategy mapped out that includes low-fee investment elections, tax minimization strategies, decumulation plans from your savings that will last as long as you need them to, then call for your own retirement planning session complimentary for our valued radio listeners. 833-856-1382. Are you able to lower your taxes in retirement? Are you unclear about your Social Security, Medicare, investment fees, and risks, or how to produce ongoing income that lasts your entire retirement? Then call Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial to schedule your own comprehensive retirement planning session. No cost to our valued radio listeners. 833-856-1382.
For your own complimentary Retire Your Way review, call Dale Soutas of Retire Your Way and Soutas Financial at 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Welcome back to Retire Your Way with Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial. Welcome to all of our new listeners. So we're on another brand new channel here in California. Wherever you're hearing us at, we just want you to know that you can get started on your own retirement plan with Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial from wherever you're at. You're welcome to come into the offices, or you can give us a call. We can set up a phone call, get to know you there, find out what your questions are, find out if we can help you. We can set up a Zoom as well. And it all starts with this phone call where we have folks standing by right now to schedule your appointment. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382. And if you'd like to learn more about Dale and what they do, you can go to his website right now, or when you're done driving, doing your errands here on the weekend, go to Soutas.com, Soutas.com. I'd like to stay in the estate planning, if you don't mind, because I still have some more questions here. I saw this one. This came from Kiplinger's. Only 31% of Americans have a will, and just 11% actually have a trust, despite almost 80 to 90% of Americans realizing the importance of doing the estate planning. Look, those are not good numbers. If we know that we need to do it, I mean, 3 out of 10 people who come into your office have a will. Does that track for you? Is that about right? Is that what it seems like when they come in?
Yeah. I mean, I even have a friend who, if he's listening, he'll know I'm picking on him. But he knows that a trust is how his house needs to be titled so that it'll pass on where they want it. But he's just, well, no, I haven't set it up yet. And I'm like, well, why not? Well, we're both alive. Well, okay, but if something happens to one of you, the other's still in control if you jointly own the property. I get it. But it's kind of like, I'm going to buy auto insurance after I get in that collision, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. So, a trust, sometimes people don't set them up because they don't understand them or they think they're giving up control. And that's not the point. But a lot of people come in, they do have questions about, how to set, what kind of trust do I need to have? Is it revocable, irrevocable? What's the difference? And those are basic questions, that I can help with. When it gets real technical, we've got attorneys we can refer people to easily who, don't cost 10 arms and 3 legs. That's the nice thing. But I want you to go prepared. We have a checklist to help you understand. But for instance, let's say you're married and you currently own the property, you and your spouse, and you set up a trust and it's whatever you name it. The trust is just a fancy will for all practical purposes. You put your house in the trust, you and your spouse are the trustees. You're still in full control. You don't need an irrevocable trust. Most people just need a regular revocable trust that they can amend and change if they want to over time. If they decide to add me on as their beneficiary instead of their kids, I can give them some good ideas.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
No, but they're not going to do that. The point is, you're still in control. It outlives you, and it keeps the property from going to the state probate system, which could take 2 years or more. And let's say your house is valued around $500,000. You're probably looking, a guesstimate is probably $20,000 or $30,000 to get it through.
Oh, wow.
The probate system. And anybody can walk in the court hearings on your probate and say, hey, they owed me money. And now it takes longer and it costs more to get it through that process. So to keep it a private family matter, you set up a living trust. And now in a matter of days or, a week or so, the kids can transfer the property to them, or they can sell it, split the proceeds under current tax laws. The stepped up basis still follows that trust, and the revocable type, that is. And so they sell it, and the proceeds come to them tax-free. So having a trust is smart. Don't
and
put
you're
it
not
off.
giving up control. You're not
giving up control. Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
Okay. This is a big, huge step that I think a lot of Americans are missing. We know they are because I can see the numbers here. Well, almost 90% of Americans don't have any version of trust. Only 31% have a will. And the will, even though you're designating where you want things to go, that's going to go through probate. The will does not avoid probate, correct?
Correct, for real estate.
Okay.
But let's say you have jewelry or collectibles and different things, tools, whatever, those kinds of things, the will is perfectly designed for.
Okay.
If you have checking, savings, CDs, investments, retirement accounts, IRAs, 401ks, all those different accounts, all you have to do is name beneficiaries, and they do not go through probate as well. So it keeps it simple. Make sure your beneficiaries are up to date on your accounts. But if you have real estate, make sure you have the proper legal instrument. Usually it's a revocable living trust to make sure that property transfers to those that you really want to inherit it, whether it's the kids or charities or other relatives or whomever.
Mm-hmm. And then you work with the estate planning attorneys to kind of properly title the items, let them know what kinds of things need to go in there. Would you put things like the investment accounts in there as well? Does that make it easier to transfer? If you put, let's say, your 401k rollover that is now in an IRA and whatever the leftovers are can go to your next generation, or making sure that it goes to your spouse. I mean, I know those you can do on beneficiary designations.
Okay, you want to,
yeah. What goes in there? What else goes in the trust?
Yeah, it's okay to have your checking, savings, CDs, the non-tax deferred accounts going into, titled in your trust. You're still in control. The like an investment, a brokerage account. But anything that's a retirement vehicle, like a 401k, TSP, 403b, IRA, those, if you tried to put them in your trust, I mean, you could do it, but then you make all of that money taxable in the year you've transferred it. So you don't use the trust that way. And why the question should be, why don't we have the trust as the beneficiary listed on those tax-deferred accounts, whether they be annuities, whether they're IRAs, 401ks, TSPs? Why do you not name your trust? Because the trust is not a person, and under current tax... Yeah,
that was the first thing. I'd be like, why wouldn't I name a trust? Because it's a document, you goofy.
Well, I tend to call it like a separate entity because it carries the assets to the kids, and it's a fancy will. Well, why wouldn't we name the trust as beneficiary on those tax-deferred accounts? Because the tax laws say all of that money would be taxed basically at 37%, or whatever the marginal rate is at the time. Everything but about roughly 15,000 of it is taxed at the highest rate. So you need to name your kids and grandkids. There's even fancy ways to, not fancy, but smart ways to, if you have kids and grandkids, to title or to name beneficiaries on your IRAs and 401ks and such, so that if the kids don't need the money, it can pass down to the grandkids without your children having to pay the tax on it first. So, but there's more to the planning and such to make sure things pass on than just having a trust or a will. There's other things needed, like a financial power of attorney, a healthcare directive while you're alive to keep things moving, forward properly too.
Okay. And I wanted to ask you about this then. Is it better to leave hard assets or invested assets, or to actually use life insurance instead, like using those assets? Because I understand you can borrow against your house to help you get life insurance, or you can borrow from what you have in investment accounts, or you can use the investment accounts income or whatever those investables are to get life insurance. Which, do you have a preference, or does it matter?
It depends. Well, okay, if you're trying to increase what goes to the kids, you really want the legacy for the kids and grandkids, then sometimes I've had people where they take their minimum distributions, or they take even excess above that from their, IRA, 401ks, TSPs, and they fund a life insurance policy. And if you're a married couple, if you fund a second to die life insurance policy, that can be easier to get, even if one of you doesn't have as good a health as the other many times. And then that money you put into it is magnified, or you increased, and whatever goes to the kids from a life insurance contract comes to them tax-free. So there's some interesting planning if you're really after improving or increasing the effect of, a legacy for your kids and grandkids.
Call the phone number right now if you are one of the outside 30% that has a will, meaning 70% of Americans who doesn't have a will. If you're part of the 90% of Americans who doesn't have a trust, and you've got assets that you want to leave to the next generation, come on. It is time to start mapping that out, and you can speak with your financial advisor. just by calling the phone number, setting up your appointment, no matter where you're hearing us. Are you on I-5? Are you here in Fresno? Are you traveling through California? You're allowed to give us a call because we can talk to you from anywhere. If you want to come into the offices, let us know that as well. 833-856-1382 is the phone number. 833-856-1382. Call it right now. Folks are standing by. We'll be right back with financial advisor Dale Soutas and Retire Your Way right after this.
Do you know how you'll generate income from your investments along with your Social Security in retirement? In our opinion, it's never too early to start the income planning process for your future. An income plan can help you work towards creating a steady stream of income to support you throughout your retirement years. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Take control today and start income planning for your retirement. Call the team at Soutas Financial so we can help you design a complimentary written income plan to help you live the retirement you've always wanted. Call 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Inflation has risen to the highest level in over 40 years, according to the April 2022 U.S. Inflation Calculator. Will your investments provide you the income you need in retirement? Are you losing purchasing power of your savings to inflation? Simply stated, if the daily cost of goods and services is 8% higher and you are earning 4% in your investments, that money buys you less of what you need. Right now is the time to act to be certain you have an income strategy that overcomes the effects of inflation. Get your own complimentary retirement income review by calling Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial and Retire Your Way, 833-856-1382. You might have the savings you need today to weather this storm, but how will inflation affect your nest egg 5, 10, or 15 years from now? Discover the peace of mind you deserve. Call and ask for your complimentary, no obligation retirement income review from Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial, 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
To get your complimentary Retire Your Way review, call Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial at 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
This is Retire Your Way with Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial. Wherever you're hearing us, whatever airwaves you're hearing us on, you can get started on your own, no-cost, written financial plan for retirement just by calling the phone number, setting your appointment, 833-856-1382. What is on your mind? Are you worried about, well, the markets are doing well, but are you worried about your investments? How do you create an income plan, your tax strategy, estate planning, health selections, Medicare review, long-term care? Do you have long-term care coverage? How do we make sure that your assets will last as long as you want and need them to? Not just for you, but maybe even for the next generation. That's what a retirement plan is all about. Give us a call, 833-856-1382. We were just talking about the 4% increase on how much people are expected to have to pay out of pocket for their own healthcare costs in retirement a couple of weeks ago. I think the new numbers are something like $172,000 plus for an individual. That means $345,000 out of pocket for healthcare costs in retirement. I mean, if you've got $1 million or so saved for retirement, more than a third of it out the window for healthcare costs. So we need to make sure that we've got an increasing inflation investment plan. Now, we don't want to get too risky, but we want to make sure your money's going to last. These are the kind of iterations that Dale and his team can help you do. Just by calling the phone number, 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382. Dale, who have you seen this week or recently who you've helped out? I think that's one of the things. I love watching like the home makeover shows, certain ones.
Right.
You know, something that drives me crazy, though, is that anytime they redo condos, they always leave out the HOA fee. Oh, does that drive me nuts? So we revamped it for this, and this is what it costs. I'm like, all right, what's the HOA fee? What's the monthly fee on it? But who have you helped recently? I think somebody had some real estate.
Well, we're still in the process of putting our heads together on some things, but I had somebody in his, I think I'm going to say mid to just past mid-70s come in. He's already retired. And so, you know, sometimes people don't realize they can contact it. It's not just about you who are still working. What if you've retired and you have any questions about, is my, my money going to last? Do I have it set up properly? Do I have have everything, all the bases covered, so to speak. But he came in, and what I was really impressed with, probably way back when Roth IRAs and stuff became available, and they took the...
It was Senator Roth, I think, in 1997 was the first person to kind of get it through.
Don't worry, I wouldn't know the name either. But
yeah.
But then for a long time, you could only do so much conversion, dollar-wise per year, converting an IRA or 401k or, those kinds of money to Roth, tax-free. And then the government lifted that to where you can convert any amount you want all at once. So if you're contributing into a Roth IRA, let's say from your income right now, you have $7,000 a year per person if you're under 50 and $8,000 if you're over 50. But what I was impressed by this gentleman, he's already been working hard to get Uncle Sam out of his 401k, his IRA money, the money he's been converting over to Roth for years. He has just a little bit left, and probably will have that all as Roth, I think, sometime next year. So the value of doing that is when you look at $100,000 or you got $1 million in your 401k or TSP, 403b, IRA, whatever, how much of it do you really have if you tried to take it out and spend it right now? Uncle Sam's going to get the majority of that, basically, especially if you have $1 million. He's going to, Uncle Sam, Uncle Newsom's going to get their big chunks right off the top. So how to get Uncle Sam out of that money is important, because down the road, now you could use that money tax-free, and the growth of it, you don't pay any tax on it. And when you do take the growth and the principal out, it also comes out tax-free. So
I like the fact that he's an astute person and realizing it. And for our radio listeners, we've talked about this before. We know that we're broadcasting on some new channels, so want to reiterate this. We're in some of the lowest tax brackets in history right now. Tax brackets back in 1979, 1980, when we started saving into 401ks, the tax deferred, tax rates were much higher. We were closer to 70%, some 60% brackets, a lot of 50% brackets. Our highest right now is at the 37%. So most of our listeners are around that 20% bracket, somewhere in the middle of there. So if you started doing some Roth conversions, meaning, as Dale is saying, getting Uncle Sam out of your account, paying the taxes, once you leave it in there for 5 years, you're going to be able to have all of that growth tax-free down the road for however long your retirement is. So this gentleman, 70 years old, doing Roth conversions, fantastic. Glad he already learned that. What else is part of his scenario?
And I'm going to throw something out. Even if you, if you're a ways away from making sense of converting to Roth, maybe your income is so high that it doesn't make sense to do it right now, you might still set up a little Roth in you and your spouse's name if you both have tax-deferred accounts. Because once you've had those accounts for 5 years, down the road as you add to them, you don't have to wait 5 years to access that money and the earnings tax-free. So, jump on it. We're coaching more and more people to get them set up, even if you don't need to use them yet. Get that 5-year window passed. This gentleman,
yeah. If you've never opened up a Roth before, we want to make sure. So, and even if you do the conversions and you don't have the 5 years to wait, if you need that income, that's okay. You've already paid the taxes on it, so you'll be able to take that money back out, especially if you're over 59 and a half, which this gentleman is. So there's no penalty. We just would like for it to be able to.
And the other part is if maybe they're making too much money to open a Roth, so just convert a little bit of your tax deferred, over to a Roth, maybe a couple thousand, 5,000, whatever. That little tax hit, on that little extra income is not going to, break the bank. But you've got the Roth set up for the future. But what was impressive about this gentleman, not only did he understand the value of, converting, getting Uncle Sam out of that, even though he, formerly worked for the government in different capacities, he's got some wonderful goals. He's wants to help the family enjoy retirement with him. He's single, yet he has kids that and grandkids he would like to share the wealth, so to speak. In other words, it'd be nice to have a property elsewhere, even out of the country, where he and the kids can enjoy vacations and have property locally, so they all have a base to, well, the base they have, they want to keep it that way in the family. But so there's a lot of things that people have in mind to do once they're retired, and it's really nice to see when ones are taking the steps to make sure they can do those things. So what's nice too, I mean, with this gentleman, the property overseas, he wants that protected for his family as well as the properties that he has here. So, again, having the proper legal documents set up so that can happen. We don't want the headaches, whether we're here or there, right? So
yeah, oh my gosh, that a whole different can of worms. And legally, I'm not sure if you know. It just makes me wonder if he has a trust here, will it legally bind whatever happens to a property in another country?
Good question. I'm still doing homework for him on that.
Yeah, good. Yeah, let us know, update on that. And so you're saying he's got children and he wants them to be able to, and children, I'm sure, if he's 70, his kids are probably in their 40s or 50s.
Oh, no, they're infants, Spike. Yeah, they're just
goofball.
Little guys. Yeah.
Goofball, you're killing me today.
I love it when I ask, do you have kids? They, well, no. Well, they're grown. Well, they're still your kids.
They're still kids. They're just not
little
kids.
guys.
Yeah, they're just not little boys and girls. They're adults, and that's why it's so important to do all of this planning, because your adult kids, your adult children, they're probably also in their high earning years, right? They have incomes, and if something were to happen to somebody, receiving all of these properties or accounts or so forth can also affect their tax status, which is, again, another reason to consider using life insurance for estate planning and to have that discussion. So wherever you're at. The other thing I want to say about it, I'm so glad he's in his 70s and called you to review what he's doing. What is something, we're going to have to go out to break here, but what was his goal then of working with you, to see if he's doing everything okay, to put together a trust? What was his big concern about reaching out to you?
Well, I think a big part of it was there's some property he would like to sell here, and so we're putting our heads together on the taxes, and definitely we're thinking in terms of, well, how does the property out of country fit into the estate plan? How do we make sure that's all buttoned up? His income is decent, although no, we do need to work a little bit on some additional income possibly, because if some properties are sold that are producing rental income, we need to replace that. So we're putting our heads together on simple solutions for that too.
All righty, folks, call the phone number right now. We can help you put together your retirement plan. Properties might have been a great way that got you here to your retirement years, but how do you actually turn that into income, especially if you're tired of being the leaseor of your place? Maybe you do want to sell off a chunk or two of it so you can turn it into income. Give us a call. We'll help you figure out your plan for retirement at no cost to you. 833-856-1382 is the phone number. More Retire Your Way with Dale Soutas right after this.
Are you worried about taxes eating into your retirement savings? By engaging in savvy tax planning, you might be able to create greater tax efficiency in your retirement plan. At Soutas Financial, our team of retirement planning specialists can help you explore tax-deferred and tax-free investment options, as well as strategies to help potentially minimize your tax burden in retirement. Call Dale Soutas of Retire Your Way and the team at Soutas Financial today to learn more about our tax planning solutions. Call 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Is your largest retirement savings account one that you haven't paid taxes on? Like millions of Americans, you've saved into a retirement account that deferred paying taxes until you take that money out years from now. One method to save on future taxes is called a Roth conversion, and you could do that right now to save yourself from higher taxes in the future. Currently living during the lowest tax rates of likely your lifetime, wouldn't it make sense to pay those taxes now instead of in the future when tax rates could be much higher? Call 833-856-1382 to talk with Dale Soutas and the team at Soutas Financial to see if doing a Roth conversion from your 401ks or IRAs makes sense. challenge yourself. Would you rather pay lower taxes now or higher taxes in the future? Call for your own complimentary Roth conversion challenge from Dale Soutas and Soutas Financial. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Call Dale Soutas of Retire Your Way and Soutas Financial for your complimentary Retire Your Way review. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Welcome back to Retire Your Way with Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial. Great review of somebody who came into you recently, 70 plus years old, already retired. I believe he is widowered himself. He's single in retirement, does have kids, has a few different properties, including one overseas, wants to make sure that he's properly protecting it all, that it goes to the kids. It's great. I mean, real estate's a wonderful thing to have, right? And we have seen it grow. But is real estate necessarily your income plan in retirement? Is that one of the kind of blind spots this gentleman was calling you about? What does he do with the real estate to turn it into income?
Well, yeah, usually if you have a rental property, you're counting on that income, and it's not guaranteed. It's certainly not considered guaranteed lifetime income because obviously things can happen. The renters, you could lose them and all that. So there's some property that, for some, and I think for this gentleman possibly, that he wants to get rid of. He wants the headache gone. So what do we do with that? How do we make sure we replace the income from that or other properties so that he can keep on going? And so we also have to look at the tax consequence of selling property, because once you rent them for a number of years, you're depreciating them. You're bringing the basis, what you paid for them down. And when you sell them, you have a bigger tax or capital gains tax. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, the capital gains tax rate, say that 5 times fast, is lower percentage-wise than ordinary income tax. So it's not as hard hitting as if it was just ordinary income, like you took a giant chunk out of your retirement account that's completely tax deferred. So so we're looking for ways to position some money so that his income will last. I think he was one that, like many, find that it's better to roll their pension lump over instead of taking his income, roll it over to an IRA, tax-free. It's not going to be tax-free out of it, but move the money without having to pay tax, have it in your control as an IRA, position it as your own pension, maybe part of it, and the rest you have available to do other things with. And that's been since way back, also been converted to Roth. So
the more I hear about this person,
I like what he's done.
I like what he's done. Exactly. What do you think triggered him to go, you know what? No, I don't need to just turn it on the pension, because that's kind of the easy button. You're like, all right, that's what you guys have assumed I've made. Great. Let's just turn that into my automatic income.
Yeah, he's heard our show for a long time. So he realizes that just pulling from even the Roth accounts, just, as they go up and down with the market, let's say, that sequence of returns, that's not necessarily going to make sure his income lasts his whole life. And he could last a long time. I think he said his father lasted into his mid-90s. So people are living longer. How do we make sure our income will not only keep going as long as we do, but keep up with inflation? And, the longevity, again, is the magnifier of all the other retirement risks.
I love the fact that here's somebody who's asking for advice, asking for direction, asking even just for kind of a review of what they're doing and to make sure it's going to work. So we like to say that to folks out there. Are you already retired? Do you have some question marks? How about a second opinion? And if you're the one who's managing all of your own investments and your income strategy, wouldn't you like a professional to take a look at it? And I'll tell you what, if you're doing well and there's nothing we can see to adjust, we'll let you know that. But if we can give you some tips or some thoughts or some ideas that might get you going in a better direction, we'll let you know that as well. And it starts with a phone call. 833-856-1382 is the phone number. That's 833-856-1382. You said he rolled over his pension into kind of a lump sum. He can still turn that into his own pension-like plan, though, right? He can turn it into a tool that does the same thing?
Correct. And possibly even get, a better stream of income or more more income over lifetime, more out of it. So there's a lot of companies that allow you, when you retire, if they're offering a pension, they allow you to roll that over as a lump. You can move it to like an individual retirement account, that's an IRA. And when you move it from the lump to the IRA, you don't pay tax on it. Now it's there. You can position the IRA, on the stock market. You can put it in the bank. You can have it set up in different, investment vehicles, even an annuity, to where down the road you can turn income on from that you can't outlive. There's some excellent tools that when you turn the income on, the income can increase at a pace at or even above inflation typically. So you can make it to where you have your own private pension that you can't outlive and that can help you throughout, with inflation primarily. I'm looking at that. But maybe they don't need all of that positioned just for income. Maybe they, need a portion of that set up to provide additional income. The other portion, they would like it to be in, some people, like his case, tax-free use, just grab a chunk of money and, take the family to a home out of the country in this example, or whatever you want to do. I had regularly ones who say they, in fact, recently I had a gentleman, he paid for his kids and grandkids all to go to Hawaii all together. So, there's things like that we may want to do. Maybe you want to help your kids or grandkids out with their first home. What are the different things? So having more control of that lump by moving it into an IRA might give you that ability, especially if you're in a position where you can get Uncle Sam out of that money by converting it to a Roth IRA and have it tax-free to use.
All of your strategies all sewn together. It isn't just about focusing on taxes or investments or income or healthcare plans. You weave them all together, Dale, and that's why it's important for our listeners to get a complete retirement plan. Opening of the show, we mentioned to folks we're on a couple of new radio channels right now. You're listening to financial advisor Dale Soutas. He's the founder of Soutas Financial. He's been here on the airwaves for well over 20 years, whether it's been commercials or doing the radio program, doing live events, or, of course, meeting with folks like you, our radio listeners, in person. Now, we also want to let you know that no matter where you're at here in California, if you're hearing this broadcast, if you're anywhere up around I-5, you're passing through Fresno, you are welcome to give us a call. I say this, if you're serious about retirement planning, whether it's reviewing or preparing for your retirement, if you're serious about it, Dale and his team are serious about helping you. 833-856-1382 is the phone number. Dial it right now. If you're driving around, have somebody punch in those numbers. You can call later if you want to, but we have folks standing by right now who will schedule an appointment for you. It is no cost, no obligation to sit down with Dale. We can review your investments, how much risk you're taking, what are the costs of what you're using. Are there tools that can help you with peace of mind, such as income tools to help you in retirement, long-term care coverage tools? All of that is part of your retirement plan review. And if you don't have a plan, let's get you started. Dale, you also have a couple of entertaining things that can help people. So let's say they're in a different part of the state. You have some movie stuff that you can send links to. What are those? I know we've got previews on your website, right?
Well, yeah, there's trailers to both movies on the website. And I would just want to say people up and down the state they don't have to come all the way to Fresno to sit down with us face to face. Obviously, they can set up a telephone call. We can talk over the phone, get acquainted, understand where you're at. If you're doing great and I see that with your situation, I'm going to pat you on the back and say, keep going. It could be a Zoom appointment if you want to see. Sometimes we initially talk on the phone, but we set up the second visit with Zoom so that I can show the rough draft of their retirement income plan. But the educational aspect of what we bring, we like to share a movie for those who are closer to or are retired called the Baby Boomer Dilemma movie, and they can access that free of charge. Just let us know so we can send you the link for that and the password, which is updated every month, I found out. So If you want to see it, it's only 85 minutes. It's very good to watch. It's basically talking about the difference between how companies used to offer pensions and now why they're doing all these 401ks, 403bs, TSPs instead, because they don't want to have to manage your retirement account, basically. But how do you set up your retirement to maintain your lifestyle with income? The other movie we love sharing for kids and grandkids' sake, younger ones, is The Power of Zero, the wisdom of planning, how to help our kids and grandkids to keep Uncle Sam out of their retirement savings in the future. That's not as exciting as the Boomer movie. It probably lasts about 2 hours. And the first half is talking about why we need to do it that way. The second half is how to do it. And we can help people with all those methods too. So that's a couple movies to look at, Boomer movie and The Power of Zero. Check out the trailers. They're 2 minutes each.
Yeah, check out the trailers. They're on Dale's website. Go to Soutas.com, Soutas.com. You'll see the trailers on there. And then if you want to, you can reach out to us. We'll get you those passwords so you can have a movie event in your own living room. Invite your friends, invite your neighbors. Make sure that you watch it with your spouse, and make sure that you get all of the information you need to be and stay retired. Give us a call, 833-856-1382. When you call that phone number, we'll either schedule an appointment for you, or we'll get you a couple of those codes and say, I'd love to watch those movie experiences at my home so I can be and stay retired. For Dale Soutas, I'm Spike Spangle. Thank you for listening to today's program. You can reach out and get started on your own written financial plan wherever you're at in the state of California, 833-856-1382. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week.
As a valued radio listener of Retire Your Way, Dale and his entire team of retirement professionals invite you to schedule your very own complimentary retirement plan review session. 833-856-1382 is the number for you to call. If you don't have a retirement strategy mapped out that includes low-fee investment elections, tax minimization strategies, decumulation plans that will last as long as you need them to, then call for your very own retirement review session, complimentary for our valued radio listeners. Are you able to lower your taxes in retirement? Are you unclear about your Social Security, Medicare, investment fees and risk, or how to produce guaranteed lifetime income so your lifestyle and goals don't have to be changed with the ups and downs of the market or taxes? Call Dale Soutas with Soutas Financial and be confident you can retire your way. Schedule your own comprehensive and complimentary retirement review session. Don't just live in retirement, thrive. Call 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Investment advisory services are offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The content provided is intended for informational and educational purposes only. The views, statements, and opinions expressed herein are those of the individual speakers and are not necessarily those of Foundations and its affiliates. The information contained herein does not constitute an offer to sell any securities or represent an express or implied opinion or endorsement of any specific investment opportunity, offering, or issuer. Any discussion of performance or returns is not indicative of future results. Any discussions of specific strategies are for informational purposes only and have been provided to help determine whether they may be appropriate for your specific situation. If applicable, the primary goal in converting retirement assets into a Roth IRA is to reduce the future tax liability on the distributions you take in retirement or on the distributions of your beneficiaries. Each individual investor's situation is different, and any ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Comments regarding a particular client's experience may or may not be the same as another client's experience, and is not an indication that any client or prospective client will experience the same or a higher level of future success or performance. Foundations only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. Nothing herein constitutes a recommendation that any security, portfolio of securities, or investment strategy is suitable for any specific person. No legal or tax advice is provided. Please review your retirement, tax, and legacy planning strategies with a legal or tax professional before transacting or implementing any strategy discussed herein. Any comments regarding safe and secure investments and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to investment advisory products. Rates and guarantees provided by insurance products and annuities are subject to the financial strength of the issuing company, not guaranteed by any bank or the FDIC. This is not endorsed or affiliated with the Social Security Administration, any federal Medicare program, nor any U.S. government agency. If applicable, we do not offer every plan in your area, and contacting us at the phone numbers provided herein will direct you to a licensed insurance agent. Any information we provide is limited to those plans we do offer in your area. Please contact Medicare.gov or 1-800-MEDICARE to get information on all of your options. All rights reserved.